prerequisite too. So, great opening game for Auburn. We're looking forward to it.
Over here on the left side, the front row.
Coach Dan Harrelson. What are your thoughts on the upcoming 4-team playoff in 2014? And would you be in favor of putting Alabama and Auburn in the East and Missouri and Vanderbilt in the West to keep that geographical?
Well, I'm going to start with the last question, and I'll work to the first one. Really and truly, I'm really not going to comment on and speculate which would be the best and things of that nature. That's really not for me to decide. And geographically, to the outside looking in, some of that probably makes sense. But you know what? It's like anything else. So you sit in those meetings and you go through all of the different things that you know are involved in making that decision. We don't probably have all the facts. So geographically is not a reason to necessarily do something until you put all of the factors in there together. With a 14 playoff, I'm going to be honest with you, the 14 playoff right now depends on what glasses you're wearing. So let me give you an example. In 2010, if we had the 14 playoff in place, and I was at Auburn and just went through this league undefeated and just won the SEC championship game, am I in favor of playing another one to prove that I deserve getting into the national championship game? No, I don't. But if you back up to 2004, when we were undefeated and we didn't get in the national championship game because we weren't 1 or 2, then I'm totally in favor of it. And I think that, as anything, you can shoot holes in anything you want. I think it's a movement in the right direction. I think there's two main keys to the point of how they structured it. Number one, they kept the bowl systems pretty much to the best of their ability intact so that there's still a reward for all the players at the end of the day. I feel like that for the traditionalists out there, the bowl systems and the bowls that are out there, they get to stay as a reward, and I think that's big for the players and coaches. Second thing, I don't think a 14 playoff diminishes whatsoever the intensity of week by week trying to get down to the Final Four. I think there's a lot of value in that for the fans following it week by week because essentially every week is a playoff, certainly in late October and November. So I think those are good things. But at the end of the day, 12 years from now, when they go back and they start this 2 years from now and they do it 12 years, this system that we had now, when they put that in however many years ago, that looked great. Right? And then how many years later we decided that there were some holes in that and we needed to fix that. And to be honest with you, the same thing's going to happen with this. There's going to be unintended circumstances or unintended consequences that a lot of people didn't think about. I can think of serious scenarios in my mind right now. And so, if the 15 beat the third team or the second team and they didn't become number 4, they're going to have the same argument that the number 3 team did. We all know that. We were smart enough to figure that out. Another scenario could be if number 1 and number 2 are in the same conference and they play a championship game and 2 beats 1, right? Then 2 becomes 1 and 1 becomes 4, then they're going to rematch the next game. So I mean, there's scenarios out there that can happen that, look, there's a lot of things, but I definitely think that it was well thought out, and I think that there's a lot of movement in the right direction, and I think it's going to be very exciting for everybody. But again, 8 years from now, what will be the scenarios that popped up that will make people rethink this? Because that's going to happen. But for the most part, I think it was a really, really fine job and well thought out in terms of for everybody, the fans and players. It's probably a long answer to a short question. That's how I feel.
Any other questions?